Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the session 71 of Beyond Research, where curiosity meets conversation, co organized by Biopractify along with the American Chemical Society's IIT Delhi chapter at Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. And today's session is titled Strategize, Articulate, Succeed, a practical roadmap for aspiring researchers to cracking national and international fellowships. And if you are someone aiming for competitive research fellowships, international exposure, or simply trying to understand how to position yourself strategically in academia, this session is going to be extremely valuable for you. And now it gives me pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Charan PSVV. And Mr. Charan holds an MSc in biotechnology from Amrita School of Biotechnology, where he was a gold medalist and secured first rank. He is the founder and editor in chief of NextGen Biology, an international science communication newsletter, and he is also the founder and CEO of BioSci an e learning initiative supporting life science learners. And internationally, he has served as a Corona Fellow and visiting researcher at ICANN School of Medicine, Mount Sinai in New York, working at the Cardiovascular Research Institute. He is a recipient of multiple prestigious fellowships, including IAS, INSA, NASI, SRFP, and has been recognized nationally and internationally for his academic and mentorship contributions. Over the past 5 years, he has mentored 2000 plus aspiring researchers, guiding them towards fellowships, research exposure, and academic clarity. And today he'll be sharing practical, structured insights on how to strategically prepare, position, and present yourself to successfully crack competitive research fellowships both in India and abroad. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Charan PSVV. And Charan, the stage is all yours, and we are really eager to learn from you today. And over to you.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing great. And first of all, before I get started with my presentation, I would really like to thank Vineet Mittal for running Biopractify and organizing this Beyond Research, where curiosity meets conversation. It's an amazing series. I have been following Biopractify for past few months, and I have been really inspired with the journey, and a lot of nice speakers coming up and talking about really important topics. And also, I would like to thank the entire Biopractify team for organizing this amazing interactive session. Um, and I believe and I hope I kind of add some value to a lot of listeners in this session. All right. So let me just share my screen. I have a little presentation to show. Can someone let me know if you can see my screen? Right? You can see my screen, right?
Yes, it is visible.
All right. All right. Thank you. So I just have a few slides to show. And okay. Okay. So the title for today's talk is Strategize, Articulate, Succeed, a practical roadmap for aspiring researchers to cracking national and international fellowships. So okay, so here you can see a bit of details about my experience, my past experience and ongoing roles, where all I have served and what were the different positions I have, served as. Um, so before getting into the topic, I believe like most of the listeners of this session are basically life science enthusiasts or research aspirants, maybe in their bachelor's, early stage in their career, or in the masters, or maybe planning for their PhD or research positions in India and also abroad. So over the past few years, I have mentored multiple people to reach towards their goals, to reach near to their goals. And with that experience, I'll try my level best to give you valuable insights, which I believe will be like really useful for all of you. So So coming to the point, as Vineet mentioned, I recently graduated from my master's in biotechnology from Amrita University, which is in Kerala, in Kollam. And I also come from Vishakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. Uh, So here you can see like glimpses of my convocation where I was receiving my gold medal and the university level silver medal. And on the right hand side, you can see my parents. So I'll just show a few of the photos and I'll get started with the actual topic. So, so previously, I was fortunate enough to have received one of the most competitive research fellowships. It's an Indo-US exchange program. It's called a Corona program for scholars. It's one of the student exchange programs. It's a prestigious one, and every year thousands of applications go, and around 65 to 70 people get shortlisted and go fully funded to perform their research in United States. So I was fortunate enough to work at Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai in Cardiovascular Research Institute, which is also ranked fourth in the world. And the same hospital is also the number one smart hospital in United States. So I was working in Dr. Carol Gregorio's lab in Cardiovascular Research Institute, and I gained a couple of months of experience doing multiple projects over there. So here you can see me followed by my teammates. So she is the one in the black coat is our professor, Dr. Carol. And here are the glimpses of me doing my, program, research program there. All right. So I was also fortunate to be featured in one of the world's largest stages, that is Times Square billboards in the New York City, in the heart of the New York City, Manhattan. So here are the glimpses of that. Okay. So before we get into the topic, what I would like to talk to all of you is, over the past few years I have seen multiple people crossing paths with my own experience. So one thing I found common in most of the early stage students, so they have a lot of ideas, right? They have a lot of ideas, concepts, and all those things in their mind. But one thing where a lot of people lack is how to present their ideas, right? Whatever is in their mind, how to present that in a proper way, right? How to put your ideas and thoughts into words, right? Not just words, but impactful words. The ones which get you the fellowships, right? The ones which get you selected, and the one which puts you near to your dreams, right? So I'll be talking about what are the different requirements for you to achieve any fellowship. So I can actually tell you, I have applied for a couple of fellowships, a lot of fellowships during my bachelor's and master's, and I have been selected for all of them. So with that experience, I've been mentoring a lot of students to get into those fellowships, and most of them have actually secured that. So I have actually designed a magic formula, I would say, for a lot of students who are aspiring for that. So I'll be showing you the first one, that is a statement of purpose. So this is one of the very important document, a lot of applications, research internships or any fellowship programs usually ask for a statement of purpose. So let's see what's the statement of purpose. So statement of purpose is basically a short document. It's a 500 words document, which talks about what is your motivation, what is the purpose behind why you are applying for that program. So, I mean, long ago, 20 years ago, something called SOP doesn't exist. But nowadays, almost everywhere, even if you're going for a training program, internship program, even if you're applying for a PhD program or any research program, they'll be asking you for an SOP. So this is almost inevitable. You cannot escape from this, right? So let's see how to write an impactful SOP which will actually get you into your dream goal or dream internship, right? So basically, this is a formula which I have designed over the past 4 years, right? So it's a 4 paragraph format, which I usually recommend all of my students. So starting with the paragraph one, which talks about what is the problem you're trying to target, right? So there should be a purpose behind why you're trying to target that particular issue. So for example, early in the stages, early in our career, research career, we'll be having a lot of dreams. Like I want to cure cancer, for example, right? Or I want to cure cardiovascular diseases, the two most devastating problems in today's world, right? Or diabetes, or obesity, right? So to name a few, these are few of the major problems in world. Cardiovascular diseases being one of the leading problems, right? So Your SOP should start with the problem statement, right? What is that specific thing which you're planning to target, and why you are targeting that, and why not something else? So there should always be a rationale behind what you're going to write, right? So it should briefly highlight facts and figures, or facts and numbers. So, so if, for example, if I say cancer is a very big problem, so probably that's a huge statement I'm making, but it doesn't have an impact. So how will you create impact with that line? So you'll be adding into few words, like you'll be talking about the population size, right? So 9.5 million people worldwide are affected by cancer, and the death toll for cancer is around 9.5 million every year globally, right? So basically, if you're talking about something related to cancer, then you need to mention the facts and numbers of that particular problem, right? That is how you show the significance of the problem and how many people are being affected by that, right? And what actually motivated you to focus on that particular ideology should be clearly reflecting in your first paragraph. Okay. And eventually you can make a transition. That's like you should start with the problem statement and your motivation factor, why you want to do that, basically talking about the rationale, followed by you're directly transitioning into your academic and research involvement, which is in your second paragraph. So for example, if I say that I want to cure some of the cardiovascular diseases, for example, heart failure, or heart attack, or myocardial infarction for that matter. So people who are reviewing my SOP would basically ask me a question. Okay, so you want to target this, right? You want to target heart failure. Then what is the necessary groundwork which you have done? So you should have some groundwork done, right? So you will be talking about your research projects, like maybe your bachelor's thesis or master's thesis or any internship program which you have done during your academic journey, right? So you'll be talking about all your relevant experiences. So always mention your relevant experience. Don't mention every experience, right? So for example, if I'm going for a researcher position, and for example, if I have a hotel management background, so it's quite obvious that nobody is going to give me that position, right? So you might have a lot of experiences, but you need to align yourself to the program goals and objectives. So there will be a program description, right? So you need to align to that program description. Okay. So maybe you can also add whatever is your involvement, right? For example, you're participating in some conference, or you are going to write a paper for publication. You wrote a review paper, right? Or you took some courses from maybe Coursera or NPTEL, or some of the good platforms. You have done some courses, or maybe you presented some posters in some conference, right? So all these things actually show that you're basically aligning to your goals, your short term and long term goals, right? You have a specific goal and you are going towards that. So let me tell you one very interesting fact. The people who are going to select your SOP is not going to see how much experience you have. It's not at all in that angle, right? They're going to see how motivated you are, and are you able to relate your experience with your short term and long term goals, right? So you should not be a random applicant who is adding everything into your SOP, like you're adding almost everything, whatever you have done. It's not like that. You need to add only relevant things, right? So after that, you need to come to the next paragraph, where you will be talking about technical competence, independent research capabilities and growth mindset. So you'll be talking about, your relevant skill sets, right? Like wet lab experience or dry lab experience, your what all techniques and what makes you stand out from others. So I would say, to develop this, I would suggest all the students, or all the people who are applying for different fellowships, to do micro learning. So this is something which I have adopted for myself for past 5 years, I must say. So micro learning is every day you learn something new, right? And you try to accumulate a lot of knowledge. At the end of the day, that's what makes you stand out. Learn a lot of nice techniques which are actually not taught in your academia, right? For example, in a university setting, I'm pretty sure no university in this country would be teaching you how to use BioRender, right? So BioRender is one of the graphic designing software which you can use to design, amazing figures, which you will see in most of the research papers and your textbooks and all those things. I'm pretty sure no university is going to teach you how to use biorender. So if you know that skill, you are basically going ahead in the application list, right? So and you are going towards getting selected. So basically, in that way, you need to accumulate a lot of new skills, right? So like maybe try to learn some new software. And nowadays, they're integrating coding and all those things as well in biotech curriculum. So you need to also learn, BioPython or something like that, which I'm also learning. Recently I have started learning from one of the book. I can show that book towards the end of this presentation. So also, you should also demonstrate your ability to perform experiments independently. So if given, for example, if I asked you to do a Western blotting experiment, right? How confident you are to perform that? So let me tell you one more thing. You should not be overconfident in your SOP. That's what makes many people fail in most of the things. So you should demonstrate your independent work, culture, but you should also give enough room for learning. That's very important. People don't want experienced people. They want people who are ready to learn and grow through that particular program. Okay. And followed by the last paragraph. Basically, you'll be talking about your short term goals, like you want to learn as many skills as you can, and you want to increase your research depth. You want to gain as much as knowledge you can, right? And also long term goals. Where do you see yourself 10 years down the lane, right? And what are the different things? Like, what is your expectation from this program? So that's all you'll be talking about in your SOP. So this everything in this will be coming under 500 words. So personally, I have mentored more than 1,000 people with their SOP, and some of the statistics which I have, an SOP which is having more than 500 words usually reduces the selection of, I mean, chances of selection. So try to keep it as crisp as possible, straight to the point, and I'm pretty sure it will get selected. I can give you some of the live examples which I have. Some of my students being selected in Harvard, Stanford, and also MIT. And recently in India, a lot of people. I can also give some of the examples, and maybe you can connect with them and also learn from them, right? So, uh, so this is a basic blueprint for statement of purpose, background and why you're going to pursue this, what are your career goals, and the reason for choosing this university or that particular research program, and conclusion, basically. So all these things should be reflecting in your SOP. So that's what makes a standout SOP, right? So next, some of the programs, for example, Corona program, the one which I have been selected in 2024. So they usually asked for something called objective statement. So this is one of the selected objective statement, which was sent by Indo-US Science and Technology Forum to us to, kind of use it as an example. So objective statement is a mini SOP, I would say. So how different is objective statement from a typical SOP? The difference is the word count, right? And the way you put the things up, right? In a typical SOP, you are going to go in depth about the facts and figures and numbers and what is the problem statement and all those things. But in objective statement, you will directly go and talk about what you want to do in this particular program, right? And what are your expectations from that particular professor under whom you would wish to work, right? So that things will be mentioned here, followed by the word count is restricted to around 300 words, 315 words, around that range, not like a typical SOP, which is 500 words. So we'll be drafting a typical objective statement, which will be sent by a cold email to professors. Okay. So to anyone who is planning to apply for Corona program, which is not yet opened, it will open soon. That's what I have got from the Indo-US Sciences Technology Forum. Recently, I have contacted them. So the applications will be starting soon. So anyone who wish to apply for that, try to draft an objective statement for all your professors of interest. So followed by research proposal. Wow. So research proposal is no less than SOP. So research proposal is basically putting your research ideas into a structured format, right? So why you want to, address that particular problem, right? What is the background? What is the rationale, right? Basically, you're going to address all the W's of research in this particular proposal. So in research proposal, there's something called hypothesis, right? So, to come to an hypothesis, you need to find a problem first, right? So basically, you will be trying to find a research problem. Maybe you read some recent Nature paper, like something which is recently published or something, right? So you try to grasp as much as you can, and maybe you try to understand, some of the concepts in the paper, and you got a thought in your brain that, okay, so this is how they have performed this research and how better this can be done, right? What can be a different angle in which this particular problem can be addressed, right? So that is where a hypothesis comes up, right? I'll tell you how to kind of come to an hypothesis. So there are different components of research proposal, starting with a title. You need to draft a good title, like kind of an attractive title for your problem, and starting with an abstract. So abstract will be whatever you're going to convey in your research proposal. That will be written in around 100, 150 words in a research proposal. That's your abstract, followed by background and rationale. So in background, you will talk about, what is the known cause of that, and where does the research, lag. Basically, what is the drawback in current research, particularly considering that problem. For example, maybe cardiovascular disease, where does the research stands today, right? So that background details should be given here, followed by rationale. Why did you select that? Okay. And every research question should be justified with three hypotheses. Okay. So this is a magic formula which I usually give to a lot of my students. So please propose three hypotheses for every problem. So I can tell you like how to draft a good hypothesis in a simple term for anyone who is non-science in this particular meeting. Let me tell you, for example, if you have a torchlight, right, and suddenly it stopped working, so there can be many reasons why it stopped working. Maybe the bulb got fused, and maybe the batteries are low, or maybe the battery drained. So how will you decide which one is the correct hypothesis? So you will go to the market, get a bulb, and try to replace the bulb, and it didn't glow. So basically, you're going to reject that particular hypothesis that replacing bulb is going to solve the problem. So that hypothesis is rejected, basically. Now you are going to replace batteries with the new batteries, and it started glowing. So what does it mean? Your hypothesis that the battery is drained is a true hypothesis, right? So that is how you will be, kind of understanding the term called hypothesis. But in research or in biology, it is not as simple as this. You need to really do a lot of, efforts, and people who are researchers in this meeting would know the struggle of kind of finding a good hypothesis. It's very difficult, right? Then you will be talking about your objectives. If given this problem, what will be your objectives over the past, next few months of time, the timeline. What are the different, stages you are planning to, conduct? Followed by methodology, experimental design. You need to come up with a flow chart. Where will you start and where will you end up, right? So that particular flow chart should be given. Followed by in vitro, in vivo studies. If you want to do some bioinformatics analysis, you can also do in silico studies as well. Followed by key experiments lists. Like, okay, so maybe if I'm saying I want to work with a typical cell line, maybe I can name one cell line, which is H9C2, rat embryonic cardiomyoblast cell line. Maybe what are the different experiments I am planning in vitro using that particular cell line? In vivo, obviously, you cannot do using cell lines. You need to use an animal model. So which animal model you'll be using? What are the different experiments you'll be performing with that mice model, or C. elegans model, or any model, right? So then statistical analysis, obviously, expected outcomes and significance. Very important. Significance matters a lot. They are not going to select any research proposal which is not significant enough. There should be a typical population size which your research proposal is going to address, right? Okay. So, okay, okay, this thing I have already explained the past 2, 3 minutes. Okay. So next is your CV. So every application in today's, world, wherever you are going, like any research internship, national, international, any, fellowship program or anything, they are going to basically ask you three things. One is your CV. Obviously, CV is almost constant everywhere. You are going to, upload your CV almost in every application, followed by your SOP and research proposal, sometimes objective statements. So CV is something which you cannot neglect. And many people fall in a trap. So Never use any online software to make your CV. There are various good softwares as well. I mean, I personally have used few online softwares to design CVs earlier, 2 3 years back, like Flow CV or Novo CV or all these, good softwares. But the problem with that is that doesn't come with an ATS compatibility, right? ATS is applicant tracking system. Most of the abroad, wherever you're applying, they're going to scan through your CV using an AI software. Okay. So they are not going to, visually see your CV and, review that CV. Okay. They are going to make an AI read your CV. Okay. So for an AI to read your CV should be compatible enough. You should not use a lot of special characters, a lot of graphic content. The more your CV is plain, okay, plain and clear, the better it is. The more you add graphic contents, the transition effects, the gradient effects, or maybe, colorful CV and all those things, it's going to reduce your readability and overall ATS score. So eventually you will wonder, okay, my CV got rejected, right? So nobody should face a rejection because of your CV, despite of having good research proposal and SOP. So making your CV better is a very, very important aspect, right? So I can show you one of the CV which more than 250 people in my own, network have used through me. This is the template which I have designed, taking inspiration from Harvard CV template. And this has been one of the most successful templates, which I suggest a lot of people in my network to get. Something which over the past 2 3 years I have reiterated so many times and designed this. So try to include as many things as you can, but please don't fall into the trap of the page count restriction. I mean, I'm strongly against page count restrictions, because maybe if you have done something really, really useful in your life and they are not allowing that to be put into your CV, then I don't think investing that much time into that is like really worth it, right? Whatever you have done, you should have the freedom to represent that. So add as many things as you can, all small, small details, but don't make it too long. An ideal page count for a CV is 2 pages, I would suggest. It's different from country to country. In India, this will work. In US, it will work. Europe also, some places it will work. But there are certain places like Germany and all. You need to use something called Europass CV. Okay, so there's a specific website where you can go and design that. It's called Europass. And in UK, obviously, if you're going to United Kingdom for some research internship or something, you need to strictly follow single page CV. Okay, one page CV, and they're not going to accept anything beyond 2 pages. I mean, beyond 1 pages, right? So you need to keep all those things in mind. And one more very important thing, CV is a very dynamic document. You are not supposed to use the same CV everywhere. Your summary and other relevant details and relevant experience should keep on changing according to the program description, right? If you're applying for a cancer biology lab, then you're going to put all the experiences which you had related to cancer biology, or maybe some signaling pathways which are involved in most of the cancers or all those things. So try to position yourself in the best possible way and try to add all relevant details, not irrelevant details. That's very important for anyone who is confused about how to draft a CV. This is very important point for them. So some of the programs usually needs you to personally email the PI. So PI, in the sense, it is principal investigator, maybe the professor under whom you would like to do. So, for example, in India itself, there is a certain kind of fellowship which is known as Next Generation Scientist Foundation (NGSF). So in that, typically how it works is you need to cold email the professor, and once you get a offer letter from that professor, you will be given funding. So how will you approach that professor, right? You cannot simply email the professor and say, "Hi, I found your research interesting, and I want to work under your guidance. I'm really inspired with your research." That is very old fashioned, I would say. Long ago, 20 years ago, it used to happen in that way. Like just saying, "I'm interested in your research." Nowadays, you need to upload something called cover letter, right? So here you can see a 3 paragraph framework for cover letter. And here is a sample format. So usually in cover letter, you need to talk about what you found interesting in that particular professor's research. Maybe to make a cover letter, you need to read at least 5 to 10 papers recently published by the professor, right? So that is when people will really understand, the professor will understand that, this person is really motivated. That person has actually read my papers, right? So that confidence factor will develop. So, not just mentioning what that professor did, but you need to mention something, relevant towards the research, like maybe an idea which you have related to their research, maybe how better you can contribute to that particular project, right? Maybe what value you can add to that research project which is already ongoing, or maybe you are planning to start newly in that particular lab, right? So that few lines should be reflecting in your cover letter's first paragraph. Okay. So it's not like you mention all your skill sets and all those things, but how would you actually like to contribute? What is that new, what is that extra you are planning to contribute to that lab, which no one else is already doing in that lab, right? So that is what will spark, or that's what which will make you stand out. Okay. So here are a few sample cover letters. This is how you will be writing a cover letter. You will be attaching this Word document or whatever PDF document when you're sending an email. Okay. So apart from that, there's a typical cold email template also. It's not like you just simply mention whatever you like. There's a specific format for that, like, what is the unique insight, which you found from their paper, and, what is that which you would like to actually contribute. Maybe you can invite them to look into your cover letter, and maybe you can also invite that professor to have a one-to-one conversation with you, maybe an interview, a short 5 minutes interview where you can just sit and discuss with the professor what you would like to contribute and why you would be a great fit for that particular lab, right? So you need to justify for yourself in today's research world, right? So you need to make sure that you somehow, kind of manage to invite the professor for a discussion table, like one-to-one discussion table. Once it is there, it's totally dependent on your communication skills, how well you can communicate with the professor so that you will get a position, right? So to name a few fellowships which fellowships or research internships which students can actually apply, on the left side you can see all the Indian fellowships or training programs. Most of them usually ask for SOP, research proposal, and your CV and recommendation letters, that is 2 recommendation letters. And one more thing, while getting recommendation letters, please make sure that you get recommendation letters from professors who are into that field. For example, you are planning to apply for INSTEM. So INSTEM is a stem cell research facility which is in Bangalore, if I'm not wrong. So if you are planning to apply there, you need to get LOR from someone who knows you in your university or in your research facility, someone who knows you and someone who is established, right? Someone who has experience or has done some research into stem cells field. So if someone else recommends you, that also is valid. Any professor can recommend you who knows you personally, but a professor who has experience in that particular field would add more value to your, you know, basically your LOR will become more strong. So make sure that you reach out to right mentors when you are applying to your research fellowships. So to name a few, NextGen Scientist Foundation, this is what which I have mentioned when I was discussing about cover letters. And this is one of the most famous fellowships in India, that is Indian Academy of Sciences, Indian National Science Academy, and National Academy of Sciences, India. So IASSRFP, commonly called. And JNCSR SRFP is also very, very, interesting, fellowship program. You will get funding and all those things as well. It is Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research, which is in Bangalore. So these two programs are like really good: JNCSR SRFP and JNCSR POB, program. Sorry, project oriented biology education, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so sorry, I think Stanford and Corona should be on the right. Just excuse me for this. So, and next you have TIFR, which is in multiple places. As you know, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, they do have internship programs, which are really great. and a lot of nice professors are there. One of the best professors in India you can find there. National Institute of Immunology and National Center for Biological Sciences and Cell Sciences, Summer Research Institute, I mean, summer research internships. All those things are excellent. So anyone who is, kind of fascinated about internships, I'm pretty sure you should, I really recommend all of you to apply for all these things, right? So these all are great programs. And this is something which has recently started a few years back, Translational Health Science and Technology Institute, which is in New Delhi, crosstalk program. So this is also an amazing program which you can apply to. Even medical students are open for this. Most of the fellowships above are also open for MBBS students. A lot of my students who were MBBS, students, actually got into most of the programs which I have mentioned here. So I can personally mentor you as well. You can reach out to me via LinkedIn or TalkMate or wherever you are, comfortable with, and I'll be there for you. So on the right hand side, you can see some international fellowship programs like Stanford School of Medicine, Bioimaging, Summer Research Internship. Uh, I know two people who recently, got selected for Stanford Surf. I can also share the contact details for those students. They can really help you a lot. Corona for sure, you must try. This is one of the best programs. I always suggest for a lot of them. It's fully funded and you get a lot of experience, rich experience. And you have Zurich, which is in Switzerland. They also have amazing summer internship programs. And recently, two of my students have got into this particular program. And National University of Singapore. This is also a great fellowship program. Amgen Scholars. This is also amazing. Dadwise, mostly in Europe and Germany side. This also is like great program. See, the main thing is eligibility criteria. Okay, so eligibility criteria cannot be taken for granted. For example, if they say like you need to have 80% and above in your bachelor's or CGPA, you cannot apply if you are having even 1 or 2% less, right? Because they are going to reject you. So don't simply waste your money for all the applications. So only if you're eligible, please go ahead. There are few rare cases. Maybe if, for example, you're physically disabled or physically challenged, then they will give preference for those students, right? So that thing you have to keep in mind. So certain internships like programs like MITAX, which is in Canada, so they have restrictions for Indians, especially in certain years. Nowadays, they have been restricting India for quite some time. This particular program, but usually Indians can also apply for that program. But I think from 2026, they have restricted Indian applicants. So the ones which are government protected or government linked programs usually have this restrictions. Yeah. So I strongly advise all of you to go and visit Indo-US Science and Technology Forum, IUSSTS website. You will find a lot of applications and a lot of different amazing programs here. You can apply for all of them, considering the fact that you qualify for that eligibility criteria, and you can actually go and look through this. Yeah. And finally, LinkedIn, many people in India don't update. I mean, I have personally seen a lot of people kind of afraid to kind of showcase themselves. But I must say, LinkedIn is a very great platform, and that is how international professors network with you. So maybe if someone is not responding via email, then you can actually text them on LinkedIn. Maybe you can send your cover letter through LinkedIn. I have seen a lot of my students getting opportunities in LinkedIn, right? I myself run an international newsletter from LinkedIn, and a lot of people, even a 2023 Nobel Prize winning scientist, Professor Kathleen Kariko, I must say she's a great supporter of our initiative. She has been supporting us for quite some time. And also the former WHO scientific advisor has been also supporting our newsletter and all the editions. So, I mean, you get to receive a lot of support from people whom you don't know in LinkedIn. So that is how amazing this platform is. So always update your LinkedIn, add all your positions, your projects, your publications, your research experience, your different volunteering experience, everything in your LinkedIn. So basically, LinkedIn serves as your e-resume, right? It's a personal e-resume, I must say. It's a personal website, basically. Okay. So, anyone who wishes to get my personal mentorship services, you can reach out to me on TopMate. Uh, uh, I mean, I'll be available for you at any point of time. Do reach out to me. You can book a session with me in case you need a personal one-to-one, mentorship sessions. I'll be there for you. Okay. Here is the link. You can just search for my name in Google. You will receive that. So I would like to thank all of you for your time and would end up with saying this quote: never give up on something you cannot go a day without thinking about. And this is something which is very, very necessary for all of you. And I must say, like, this is something which you should never forget. Okay. If you have a specific goal in your life, work hard. In this world, nothing can replace hard work. Smart work obviously will do so, but it can still never replace hard work. Okay. So if you wish to see yourself as a Nobel laureate, work for it. Don't run behind it, but work towards it. Do meaningful research, meaningful job, meaningful things, and anything you would wish to do, please find a purpose behind it. It's not about doing something or anything, but doing something with a purpose that matters a lot. So you should have a clear cut goals and objectives set for your life. I see a lot of, my fellow friends and all of them, a lot of students which I have come across. The main problem is they would have finished their master's program and still they really don't know what to do in life, right? If for example someone asks you what is your interest, many people would fail to respond to that. They will be like, I want to do something, I want to do research, I want to become scientist, I want to become economist, I want to become a professor and all those things. But what are you doing towards that? That's a big question. So if you have a goal, work towards it and take necessary steps. And in this process, you are not alone. Find the right mentor, and mentorship changes lives. I can give you a live example. Recently, most of my students are, typically MBBS students or, research aspirants and all those people. And something which I have always found is, they are very, very innocent when they start to, come and receive my mentorship or something. Something which I have always found is that they have failed so many times. And a good example for that is one of my students from AIMS Delhi. Maybe all of you know AIMS Delhi. AIMS Delhi is All India Institute of Medical Sciences. It's one of the hardest medical colleges in the world to get into. It's ranked sixth. Recently, the rankings have come up. So one of my student, he's Litesh Chauhan. I can proudly say his name. So when he reached out to me on TopMate, so he was literally, in a very bad state. Honestly speaking, he failed 2, 3 times, and he was in a very bad state. But to my surprise, I just had a 45 minutes pure mentorship talk with him. I told, this is how you need to do. This is the right path. Take these necessary steps, modify these things according to, this particular formula. And I was very surprised. The very next day, he has submitted his SOP for the program. The very next day morning, I got a success story from him that he got selected for that program. And that is something which really matters a lot, right? So getting right mentorship at right stages of your life plays a very big role. And please find a good mentor in your life, and that will change your life, right? So apart from this, recently one of my friend, he came all the way from Faridabad to Vishakhapatnam to meet me in my home. So he got selected into MIT, which is in US, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So I mean, that's one of the biggest success stories which I have, getting a student into MIT and also two of them into Harvard recently. And last year, for Corona program, 10 scholars, right? Out of 75 selected scholars, 10 of them were, a part of my mentorship story. So that's something which I kind of so that's something which kind of take in a very proud way. And also for Indian Academy of Sciences, around 25 to 30 students, last year I have guided and they have successfully got their fellowship. And this year, proudly, more than 100 people I have mentored for Indian Academy of Sciences. Corona didn't start. I'm expecting a lot of people for that program as well. So dream big and, you know, achieve high, you know, also keep your thought process very intact, straightforward. Don't have your eyes on the left and right like a shark. Have your eyes towards, your goal, focused towards the front side, and go ahead. And I'm pretty sure you will be, achieving your dreams at one point of time and make everyone proud. So with that, I would like to thank all of you for, patiently listening to my session, and also the entire Biopractify team for organizing this amazing session. And I hope all of you have gained some insights from my uh, talk today. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm open for questions. Yeah.
Yeah, so dear participants, we will take a few questions now. So do not hesitate to turn on your mic or even, use the chat box to interact with our speaker. Uh,
I would love to get some questions. Anyone who is, interested can ask any question if you feel like. Should I assume that everything is clear or nobody understood anything? Okay.
I think there is a question from
Okay.
Gitanshi here
Okay.
in the chat.
Okay.
Like, okay, there is a comment, like they are replying that, their professors also reply really vaguely when they are asked for SOP.
Yeah. That's a great thing, Gitanshi. Thank you so much. So, I mean, it's all about format, I must say, right? So, I mean, everyone will write an SOP. Obviously, if it's a necessary part of your application, everyone would write an SOP. But the way you write, the way you present yourself, the way you put your thoughts into words, into an impactful way, that matters a lot. Okay, that really matters a lot. So I'm pretty sure anyone who is using the four paragraph format which I have showed in the the presentation would surely succeed. 99%, 1% obviously we cannot do anything. And if you face any problems with that, do reach out to me and we will try to rectify and streamline the process. That's not a problem.
Akshata has a question regarding shorter internship programs, like 2 month program for an internship. It is difficult to find those usually. So, would you like to suggest her something?
Okay. So the so Akshata, there are like so many programs which you can actually apply. So most of the CSIR labs do open uh, this research internship programs. If you would have seen one of my slide, I have mentioned a lot of national fellowships on the left side. If you would have taken a screenshot, maybe you can just refer to that. Even Indian Academy of Sciences also provides you 2 months program, and most of them are usually in your summer time, like around April to June, July. That time they usually wrap it up. In winter, it is really hard to find a good program because most of the programs are concentrated towards summertime. So you can reach out to me. I have a list of all programs which everyone can apply for. I can personally share that list with you. Do reach out to me in my LinkedIn. I guess in chat box, my LinkedIn profile has been posted by Vineet. You
Yeah,
can
I'm
reach out to me.
resharing it again.
Yeah. So do reach out to me, and I'll personally share you all the necessary details, and I can one-to-one mentor you as well. It's not a problem. We'll make sure you get into a good program. Yeah. Any more questions?
Yeah, we can take, you know, one more question. If anyone has any question, I think Rahul is typing from quite some time. Is there any question, Rahul? If you are, having trouble, you can unmute yourself as well.
Yeah, I just
Uh,
wanted to ask, like professors or a resource person, whoever we are mailing, usually receive a bulk of mails. Uh, so there's a chances of for our mail to get ignored. Do you have anything for that?
Okay. So, see, there is one strategy. As you see, the title of the talk is, strategize. So you need to keep in mind that professors do get a lot of emails. You leave about professor. I do get around 100 plus emails every day. So just imagine how much volume of emails a professor would get, a busy professor. So it's quite obvious that most of the emails get ignored. But the way you draft your subject line, right? So don't keep it like I want to looking for opportunity in your lab. So these kind of simple subjects don't use. Okay, kind of use specific insight from that particular lab, just for a few words about that insight, followed by your name and which program you're applying for and which date to, I mean, from which date to which date you are vacant, basically, to take that program. So that should be your subject line, followed by the cold email template, which I mentioned in this particular session in my presentation. Use that particular email template, followed by, you know, upload an SOP, upload a letter of recommendation if you have PDF from your professor, also upload your CV. So all these three documents should be there in the email. Do not forget to attach all these things. And also one more very important thing which nobody says, try to email professors on working days. Do not email them on Saturdays, Sundays, because usually most of them don't check emails in Saturday, Sunday. So what happens if you send an email on Saturday? Maybe if they get 20 or 30 emails on Saturday and Sunday collectively, your email will get buried, right? So it will go somewhere behind. So it's very highly unlikely that they open that email going 2, 3 pages behind in their email portal and reply to your email. So try to email them in a right span of time, maybe not on Monday, because Monday is declared the worst day in the week, because a lot of them don't like Monday. So they kind of hesitate to reply to the emails. So try to email them around Wednesday. I would say this is something which I practically noticed. Wednesday around 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Only send emails during this particular time frame. Don't send after 2 p.m. because it's after lunchtime and it's towards the end of the day, evening. They'll be leaving, so they usually don't look into emails. This is something you can actually follow for better response. Yeah. So I hope it's clear, Rahul.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So any more questions? I'm open for more questions if you can ask.
like I can ask a question from you. I would love to
Sure.
ask a question from you. Like what
Sure.
difference you have seen in the laboratories? Like you have worked in both, here in India and the fellowships in abroad. So what difference
Mhm.
do you feel that there is in laboratories here and the work culture there, or like what broadly speaking?
That's a very interesting question, Vineet. I must say there's a huge difference. In India, obviously, advancements in the technologies they use, the way the people behave, that's also a huge difference I have seen, the cultural difference. So in India, obviously there is a huge problem with work-life balance. The amount of stress you get, the amount of work you have. So that's huge in India and compared to US or Europe. So in Europe, the culture is like you work, whenever you feel like you work, when the work is supposed to happen, you are supposed to work. Apart from that, whenever you're free, you can take rest or roam around and all those things. So basically, even if they kind of feel like scolding you, they are not going to scold you. So basically, you will have a lot of mental peace when working in lab. My personal experience working in Mount Sinai, that's what I felt different, the huge difference when it compares to India and US. And also one very important aspect, amount of learnings which you can, right, get. So in India, probably I would have never learned Western blotting, properly in a time frame of 6 months. But in US, I was fortunate that I had great mentors. Like one of them I was very close with, Nista Patel. She's currently doing her PhD. She personally mentored me, and kind of I have become very, very proficient in that particular technique. Not just that, around around 50 to 60 different experimental techniques I have learned in a time frame of 2 months, which is not possible in India, to learn in that quick way. So I would say in a quick time, in a less time, you will be getting a lot of exposure to different techniques. That's what makes US many, many decades ahead of us in research, right? So the pace in which they go ahead is way different from the pace we are going. Obviously, India is also having a great potential, as evidenced by the vaccine production and global support during COVID-19 pandemic. India is also developing, but it will take a lot of time, I believe, to come to that standard, of technology and advancements in research, laboratory facilities. Yeah.
Yeah, true. And I believe, more students would be motivated to explore these kind of laboratory environments abroad and bring back that culture here so that it becomes like that all across, India as well. Uh, so if anyone has any further questions, they can reach out to Mr. Charan directly on LinkedIn. He's really active and really helping the students out in his community. And you can also book a session with him. And I really admire his insights. And as we come to the end of this insightful session, I would like to take a moment to express our sincere gratitude towards him. So, first and foremost, a heartfelt thank you to you, Mr. Charan, for sharing such practical, structured, and experience driven insights on cracking national and international fellowships. And your clarity on strategy, positioning, and articulation has given our participants a much needed roadmap rather than just a motivation. And we truly appreciate the time and effort you invested in engaging with our community today. And I would also like to thank all of our participants who joined in this evening for our for active listening in this session and thoughtful questions and enthusiasm throughout the session. And sessions like these become meaningful because of an involved and curious audience. And a special thanks to the Biopractify and the ACS team who are, supporting this initiative and working behind the scenes to ensure everything runs smoothly. And we hope today's session has given you not just information but direction. And it is because of speakers like Mr. Charan this initiative is able to run because he like people like him are ready to give back to community of researchers and aspiring researchers. So that is why this community initiative is thriving. And we would like to wholeheartedly thank to you, Mr. Charan, and we would really look forward to more of such sessions in near future and you coming back to guide our community from time to time. It was really wonderful to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vineet, for your kind words. And I would love to interact with Bright Minds again through Biopractify. And thank you so much for organizing this amazing you know platform for us to share valuable insights. Thank you. And anyone